At this depth, the ship is a continent of rust and silence.
Corrosion doesn't just eat, it reshapes the structure into traps. Every entrance is also a measurement of risk. In wrecks, losing the line is losing the exit. A room can still hold a story, even after the walls fail. Open slowly, the sediment is the archive and the hazard. Small belongings outlast the people who carried them. Even decay leaves a posture, a final arrangement. Leaving clean water behind is the only way forward. Tight spaces punish haste more than depth ever will. Entrapment begins with a single careless angle. Mail is time travel, letters meant to arrive.
Some messages survive only as shapes. Sound is structure speaking. Listen and move.
Depth compresses choices into one careful path. The cleanest floor is usually the safest one.
One fin kick can erase the map.
Labels survive longer than luxury. In the quiet rooms, the smallest items hide. Separate nothing underwater. Keep context intact. The body searched for something familiar, even at the end. Big spaces are where people get lost. When the room grows, so does the danger.
Reference points prevent panic.
The best move is sometimes no move at all. Lines are not gear, they are survival. Sometimes the ocean watches back.
Predators follow vibration and curiosity.
Patience is the quietest kind of courage.
When wildlife shows up, reduce openings and noise. Doors become puzzles after a century of pressure.
Force turns a snag into a trap.
The ship still points, but it no longer promises.
Lockers trap objects when rooms collapse.
Names are the last thing the sea struggles to erase. Collapsed loads redistribute, and they keep shifting. Cargo becomes memory when the ship becomes ruin. Current turns a room into a conveyor belt.
In a wreck, centimeters decide everything. Moving debris is a warning sign, not a shortcut.
The sea stores valuables in the places you'd never search on land.
Metal keeps identity longer than paper ever can.
Some choices were made in the last seconds and stayed.
Every interior route needs an exterior escape option. Leaving the interior changes the threat, not the stakes. Outside, the ship becomes landscape, and the sea owns the horizon.
Tiny treasures hide in the ship's wrinkles.
Survival is selective, even for gemstones.
Sometimes the safest route is stillness.
After a close call, the smart move is a new path.
Re-entry means trusting the line more than the eyes.
Downhill routes tempt speed and punish it. The ship still offers choices, but never guarantees.
Passenger areas collapse into memory faster than steel can. Big rooms swallow direction first. Ceramics fracture, but patterns still identify an era. A safe exit is one you can still fit through. Voids invite drifting and disorientation.
The wall becomes the compass.
Movement is what makes the cloud permanent.
In the dark, the line is memory.
Sagging plates keep shifting long after the sinking.
Snags don't announce themselves until it's too late.
Containers protect, but opening them destroys context if rushed. Money turns into a single object when time presses long enough.
A crack is a window, and windows invite attention.
Stillness is sometimes the only door you can close. Reduce openings, reduce surprises.
Crew corridors show the ship's heartbeat, even now. Personal items flatten class differences. Everyone had a pocket.
Small openings turn fear into math. Thin metal survives as a silhouette, and that can be enough.
Even here, the ship offered a hiding place.
Steel decks get safer where structure is thicker. The closer to the ship's core, the louder it feels. Thin metal fails silently until it doesn't. tools stayed where hands left them.
Remove the identifier, not the structure.
The ship warns before it bites.
Machinery zones keep their shape until they suddenly don't.
The narrowest points decide the route.
This is where the ship's strength lived, and where it now decays. High structures fall, and they keep falling.
Heat once protected metal. The sea finished the job.
In the machinery spaces, the ship decided who could move.
Retreat before visibility becomes dead.
Currents turn corridors into moving belts.
Holds are where silt becomes a weapon.
A hold is an ocean inside the ship.
If it's intact, treat it like it can shatter at a breath.
When the ship speaks, answer by getting smaller.
Leaving a hold is the moment to stay disciplined.
The ceiling is never just above you. It's waiting.
Predators patrol edges. Cracks create edges.
Sometimes survival is simply choosing not to be seen. The ship's internal pathways were built for service, not spectacle.
Images fail first. Frames often remain. Even luggage became a barricade.
The deeper you go inside, the fewer exits remain.
Ornament still points the way, even when it's ruined.
Decoration becomes hazard when edges turn to knives. In big rooms, the wall is safety.
Small fasteners can still identify uniforms and class.
Music becomes wire, and wire becomes risk.
Some shadows belong to living things. The grandest spaces fail the hardest.
Reference points prevent panic.
Stop first. Solve second.
Lines save lives more than lights do.
When the fog clears, don't rush.
Feasts end where floors tilt.
Grandeur survives only as geometry.
Flat objects travel well. Boxes don't.
The room rearranged people into furniture.
Service routes are usually the safest routes.
A doorway can be a trap shaped like help.
Glass survives by hiding.
Care is quieter than strength.
Behind every meal was hard labor and heat.
Workplaces preserve tools longer than words. Labels outlast the hands that use them.
Tight spaces demand slower decisions.
Oval frames are where entrapment starts.
In a wreck, stopping is the first rescue tool.
The closer to cabins, the more personal the wreck becomes.
Cabins keep secrets in the smallest seams.
Separate later, preserve now.
Even endings have direction.
One cabin is a story. A row is a pattern.
When wood disappears, metal still draws the outline.
Small objects hint at the unseen passengers.
Sound means stress. Stress means move. Choose routes with fewer moving parts.
Openings make you visible. Curiosity is not aggression, but it's still dangerous.
When the ocean watches, go deeper into the ship.
Markers become maps when everything else is gone.
Words dissolve. Initials remain.
Ink is gone. The gesture of writing survives.
Some habits persist past the moment they mattered.
Forward spaces trade comfort for structure.
Never trust what hangs.
Safer routes are usually quieter.
Daily life leaves smaller ruins.
Crew identifiers often outlast passenger luxury.
Every edge wants the line.
Open gently. The floor is fragile.
Personal vision becomes an artifact.
A detour is sometimes the safest progress.
Cabins hold the most human fragments.
Search the outline, not the floor.
Metal keeps shape when memory doesn't.
The pose is the last story.
Exterior adjacent routes increase risk.
Don't advertise your position. At depth, silhouettes matter more than speed.
If something circles, change the map.
Downward routes often mean fewer openings and fewer predators.
Open void steel orientation.
Reference points prevent drift and panic.
Movement is optional. Visibility is not.
A line is a route and a promise. Lower decks feel closer to the ship's bones.
Reinforcement holds shape until it doesn't.
Not every artifact can be taken. Some must be left intact.
Flow reveals openings, and openings bring hazards.
Calm corridors hide crowded rooms.
Rails are sharper than they look. Seeing ends, but frames remain.
Collapse decides where bodies rest.
Sometimes the ship pushes you toward the sea.
Open water is a different room with different rules.
Hide first. Move second.
If the sea is at the door, go the other way.
The floor is the real ceiling once it lifts.
Drawers trap objects when walls fail. Time becomes a sealed object.
Gesture survives, even when flesh does not.
Leaving a room can be as delicate as entering it.
Open spaces multiply disorientation.
When the ship speaks, listen.
If stress increases, plan the nearest escape.
Leaving the interior changes the risks, not the stakes.
Outside, the ship becomes landscape.
Small objects hide in the ship's wrinkles.
Metal survives. Stones often do not.
Edges collect what the ship cannot hold.
The historian. Tableware is how luxury becomes evidence.
Outside, the ship has no walls. Predators read contrast, not intention.
Re-entry is where lines get stolen.
Inside again, the ship becomes a maze.
Collapsed rooms hide objects in seams.
A tag can outlive a life.
Even ruins keep directions.
Exit ruse should be boring on purpose. Overhead movement means the frame is changing.
Sound travels farther than light down here.
Outside is freedom and exposure.
Scale is the wreck's loudest lesson.
The ship stays. The witness leaves.
At depth, the simplest systems matter most.
Distant is the only safe closure.
Control is quieter than fear. Some stories end by simply surviving them.